Welcome everyone to customsbreeze.com, where filling out your customs form is easy breezy and in the comfort of your own home. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Today we're going to be discussing what the ETIAS is. And this is a form that Americans and a few other countries will have to attain and get approval on starting in early 2024. So let me just get right into it. So, getting your ETIAS, what you need to know. Now, starting in early 2024, Americans and a few other countries, but I'm going to do it from the American perspective. Americans will need to get an approval to enter into Europe, which it never had before. It was, you had an American passport and it allowed you to go from one European country to the next. Now, well, starting in early 2024, that is going to change. So, yes, the honeymoon is over. There are a few changes in the air, and Americans are going to have to get used to it. But it's not a big deal. It's just getting a simple approval and filling out the form and them looking, the background check, and then you just have to wait for the approval. So, those are the changes, and they are coming. So, new day, new rules. So, 184 destinations are currently available visa free for American passport holders. Take time to think about that. That's pretty amazing because there's only 195 countries and 184 of those are visa free available to American passport holders. That's a pretty powerful passport, and that's something that we shouldn't take for granted. But that's going to change, and that's going to change, because the European Union is now saying well, we're going to implement this ETIAS, and we're going to have American passport holders now get approval in order to enter our borders and also pay a fee. So, new regulations. So, what are these new regulations called? That's right, ETIAS, which stands for European Travel Information and Authorization System. And it's required of all visitors. Does not matter the age. If you are 1 year old, 5 years old, 192 years old, you have got to get this form. You have got to get permission. So for any of those who have traveled visa-free into Europe, you need to now have an ETIAS starting in early 2024. The good thing about ETIAS is that it's quick and easy. It only takes about 10 minutes to fill out the form. And then you just have to wait for approval for the background check and for them to give you that permission. But once you get that permission, which can take from an hour to 4 days, it all depends on how complicated your background check is. If you have some things that are a little more complicated, they have to sift through and kind of come to a decision, then that will take longer. That will take the 4 days. But if you have nothing for them to really be concerned about, then it'll take about an hour. And the fee is about €7, which is equivalent to about $8. But also keep in mind that those who pay between the ages of 18 and 70 years old will deal with that fee. But if you are younger than 18 or older than 70 years old, you will not have to pay that fee. And it's for multiple entries. This actually is for 3 years. When you get your approval, it's for 3 years, and it's for multiple entries. So that's something that is, I think it's a good thing, because just imagine if you had to do a process for each and every border that you encounter within Europe. I mean, that can be a headache. So for this, it's you get this, and then it allows for multiple entries. Okay, so the form and what to expect. So when you fill out the form, there are some questions that they're going to ask you that you see in a lot of governmental forms. You see it in the customs forms. You see it in you see it in a lot of forms that you fill out when you go, to any place that needs background information on you. So that's what this form really is. And they'll ask a few more questions. But basically, on this list, this is what to expect. So, why the change and why now? So, just to give you some of the objectives that ETIAS has, just to give you an idea of why they are doing this. So, for convenience, to reduce border wait times for travelers and streamline entry into EU member states. Border efficiency, improve border management for security personnel screening travelers upon arrival and departure from EU member states. Transparency, help the EU towards achieving its goal of a visa liberalization policy that would enable citizens of more countries to enter the EU without the need of the Schengen visa. Now, I will explain Schengen zone area, the visa, in another video. But just know that there are 27 countries that participate in the Schengen Agreement. Okay, immigration. Enable border authorities to spot migration irregularities and abuse of visa-free EU travel. Security. Help EU member states strengthen their border security processes and procedures against crime and terrorism. And last, funding. Provide an additional source of revenue for the EU budget, as well as for managing visa-free travel of business, tourism, and transit visitors. So these are the list of reasons or objectives of ETIAS. And this is why they are doing what they're doing. Either way, as Americans, we're going to have to deal with this change. And like I said earlier, it's not a big deal, so it's something that other countries have been doing for a very long time. They have to attain a visa, for in order to enter into other countries. And we as Americans will have to do it too if we want to enjoy Europe. So don't sweat the small stuff. It's really not an inconvenience. It's a simple process, and it lasts for a while until the next time you have to renew it. But until then, when 2024 comes around, make sure that you do all your preparations. You really plan ahead. You pay the fee for the document, and you enjoy your travels. So I hope that this information was informative. Please visit our website at customsbreeze.com. That's CUSTOMSBREEZE.com. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Until then, happy travels.